Hello everyone, this is Hideout, and this game is called Devil's Hideout. Last episode we won a game of cards and we went to a new place. Got some stuff, not sure what we're supposed to do with that stuff. Anyway, we have a magazine that we need to have a look at, so that's what this episode is going to be all about. Let's go and do that. Having a look around. We've got that, we've got the cereal. Use the drink machine. We can't get the stuff behind there. Lady won't do anything for us. We stole some orange juice. So if I go here...
I must be on the wrong wavelength here.
Right, we really are just going to walk away. That's fine. Right, let's have a look at Midnight Stories magazine, shall we? Midnight Stories magazine, story 1. A rare and radiant longing. Her teeth were first the enamel. Once a dull pearl took on an unmistakable glow. Nephrite? I guess, with a touch of neon, even when it thinned, the bones softening into translucence. Her mouth was still full of light. He'd rubbed radium on her gums too, till they'd receded so far, he bled every time she smiled. Lovely. The tips of her fingers and the yellowing flakes of her fingernails blazed like white phosphorus in the dark. In fact, by the end of it, there wasn't a bone in her body that wasn't alight with poison. Her kin said she had the light of God in her, and they spent their days stuffing more and more of His grace into her ulcerated mouth. She twisted as she grew, losing parts of herself or gaining numerous others. Her lower jaw split wide down the middle, and when she joined her father's sermons, her tongue spasmed in the void between each part, black and swollen as her body left to rot. All that mattered to her, though, was that she shone. What did matter, not to her, or to anyone else, was that she also burned. Midnight Stories magazine, story 2. Daddy told me that Mummy had gone away to see the angels. Didn't quite know what he meant. Always wanted to go and see the angels. See Mummy again. And whenever I asked, he would get mad and tell me to shush and play with my toys. Then I saw Mummy again. In the mirror. I was brushing my hair like Daddy told me to. And Mummy was behind me. I shrieked, "Mummy's home!" No one heard me. She looked so sad. I turned around to give her a hug, and she'd come back from the angels. But she wasn't there when I looked. But there she was in the mirror, and Daddy stomped in the room. Mummy isn't here. Yes, she is. I can see her in the mirror. But Mummy in the mirror wasn't sad anymore. She was angry. Angrier than I ever saw her. She was saying something I couldn't hear her, just mouthing some words. Daddy bellowed and made some noises that didn't sound like words. Then on the floor, I see a doll that looks like me. At least I'm with Mummy again. Midnight Stories magazine, story 3. 2 million steps. I think I finally understand. I seem to have somehow fallen behind of time. This is still my home. This entire world is the past defined by the amalgam of memories. The stronger the memory, the more it exists. The more people remember something, the longer it endures here. I see things disappear as they are forgotten. Things appear as they are experienced. Unfortunately, I don't know how to use this information to get back in time. Get back in time. 5.5 million steps. As I turned into my street, I noticed movement in the park on the corner. bright red swing set looked vibrant against the shapeless grey trees that surround it. They must have been cut down recently. The branches and leaves were already losing their definition. Dear ghost. I think he's a ghost or something. He's in purgatory. People forget quickly. Multiple smaller play sets appeared as the ground shifted slightly under my feet. Seeing that new playground being built by memories of children, closest thing to happiness I'd found here so far. New playground being built by the memories of children. 14.5 million steps. Mom and Pop moved, or died. Old furniture still lingers alongside the otherwise unrecognizable new interior inside the old house. Tell myself that the slowly fading shapes are proof. They're still somewhere. Remembering. Living. Mary probably moved into her own place. Playground is still there after new houses were built. I guess you can't beat childhood memories. 34 million steps. Found Mary's apartment by pure luck. Family Ford was still vaguely visible in the driveway when I was walking through town. Must be over 20 years old by now. I recognize a lot of the furniture in the apartment. My own face stares at me from a family photo in the living room. I think that the clothes I'm wearing are somehow the exact same as the ones in the picture. I don't remember what I was wearing before. 61 million steps. I can't do long trips anymore. I almost got lost. The world is changing. Lakes and rivers are shrinking. Houses are disappearing. Maybe there's been a war. Some kind of natural disaster. The world seems to age even faster than it did before. My sister's apartment seems to be one of the few inhabited buildings. A photo of her grandchildren has replaced the old family photo. I wish I could have met them. He's a ghost. 62 million steps. When I returned to the apartment, there was a bed in the living room. Furniture started to lose colour and definition. This might be due to her family not visiting as often. So sorry, Mary. Wish you knew I am here with you. I think I'm losing it. I seem to be getting younger. Why is this happening? Toys from our childhood seem to be littering the apartment. Well, that's her grandchildren, isn't it? That was weird. I don't know. Midnight Stories magazine, story 4. He stood there, on the edge of the precipice of the world. Before him, eternal darkness evermore. All roads lead here. He thought of his life's choices, about all the paths not taken that still would have landed him here. Surely, he thought, surely there was a choice that could have saved him from this ending. One choice that could have led him somewhere else, anywhere else. The more he thought about it, the more he was resigned to the fact that no matter what he did, no matter how hard he tried, how fast he was, or how clever he played the game of life, all roads would inevitably lead here. Eternal darkness evermore. Story 5. I spent my vacation in a former Stasi cabin in the middle of the woods in an area that once belonged to the CDR. Alone. It was pitch dark outside. I heard something crying from the living room. The living room was huge. Lots of bookshelves, hunting trophies, display cabinets. But no TV. Light didn't come on, but I could see through the moonlight coming from the window in the darkness. I heard the crying more strongly. I asked myself why I hadn't noticed that large windowless room with no ground above the bookshelf before. Asked myself why I hadn't noticed that large windowless room with no ground above the bookshelf before. It's a weird sentence. I got a ladder from the storeroom, climbed into this room. It was an abandoned children's room. Run, mate. Run. Run. You don't want to be anywhere near kids. They kill you. There are old toys on the floor, probably from the 1950s. Dolls with big, googly eyes and grinning faces were hanging on the walls. Clown and marionettes with huge eyes hung from the ceiling. In the back room, there was a bed with what looked like a child and a coat lying on it. It was lying motionless on the bed with its back to me. It. Yes, that's how we should call children. It. Yes. I approached the thing, the child, the it. When I touched it, it turned towards me. It was a child with no eyeballs and blood running out of them. The marionettes and the dolls started staring at me. I was so scared I couldn't move. Then I saw black and couldn't hear or feel anymore. I did tell you to run, mate. Story 6. Altar. Enough with that fate crap. Time to take matters into my own hands. The black candles. Where were my matches? Ah! The goat is eating them. What? Let go, dumb animal. This is an internal dialogue of some kind, I imagine. Light the candles. There we go. Now the bowl. Place it under the goat. Where's my knife? Wait. No. No knife. What does the book say? Goat's milk, not blood. Phew. Lucky me. Can't stand blood. Alright, goat. Give me some. Thank you. Place the bowl on the altar. Make sure it's smack in the middle of the candles. Where's my protractor? Come on, goat. Stop eating my stuff. Okay, bowl in place. What next? He's doing some sort of ritual. Graveyard dust. Are they kidding? I'm not going to any graveyard. Cigarette ash will do. Oh no, he's going to get the ritual wrong. There we go. Looks like the soup Aunt Shirley makes. Last ingredient. A few hairs from the girl in question. Sure hope these are hers and not from her cat or something. Oh no. He's in trouble. Now the incantation. Charlie Sasa in Wanakabi Angu. How do they come up with that? Now the last step. Drink. Yuck. This better work. Yeah, didn't work. They're rituals for a reason, mate. Story 7. There once was a lady with bats, and maybe a couple of cats. She said magic spells that wished people well, but turned all of the bad people to rats. Thank you. There once was a girl from Transylvania who was said to have total mania. She bathed in blood. She feasted on nuns till she was complete in her zania. Once upon a time, a lass of Rhine took some time to use some thyme. Made a pot of stew. The stew was blue with an off-putting hue. Of course, it was made with human lime. There was a man who was a croaker. His given name was the Joker. His laugh was obscene, it sounded like a scream when he killed Robin with a poker. Story 8. The devil is alive and well. Your mind is home away from hell. Don't be scared, you let him in. Through your eyes and through your sin. He can live wherever thrives a void of feckless bleeding lives. Story 9. Hi, can I come in? The guy in my doorway put on a really strange smile. I'm here for the water well maintenance. He was trying not to open his mouth much. It was enough for me to spot one of his unusually sharp canines for a brief moment. He has a dog in his mouth? I don't know, this is weird. No. I was beginning to form an idea of who I was dealing with. He tried to explain to me that it's compulsory. The more he taught, the more I was sure he knew nothing about water well maintenance. I told him I just won't let him in, and that he's doing is distracting me from my work. The vampire blank stared at me, as if he was observing something behind me. His face expression changed one last time to that creepy smile, before he left my doorway for good. Shut the door and turned around. Then I noticed how suspiciously empty my apartment suddenly was. I opened up the window just to see a light truck full of my stuff leaving the street. 2 robbers sat in the back seat, while the driver smiled at me with his sharp teeth fully out. I think you got away with that one, mate. Paralyzed. Story 10. A sliver of moonlight through the screen. Any sound in the air is a steady tick, 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 supplied by the clock in the hall. Is it coming to my room? Does it slither around, or does it leave a slimy trail behind? Or does it scratch up the aged polyester rug outside our door? My door now, I think. No longer is it our door. No longer is my sweet husband here. Tick, tick, tick. Is it lanky, bending so its head does not collide with the roof? Or is it stout and short, stumbling under and around the furniture that I covered in plastic wrap? Does it have a voice? Or do only strangled, tortured sounds come out of what its mouth should be? Perhaps it cannot produce noise. Tick, tick, tick. I lay, hoping it won't find me. Oh God, it will find me. Oh God, 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 help me. Help, save me, please. Don't let it find me, oh God. Does it only exist in the time when the dark is encompassing, when it cannot be seen? Or did it exist when the sun rose? My dear sweet Henry, I am so sorry. Thought it was the error in your brain that was growing in there when it shouldn't have been. What caused your nightly terrors? I thought it was the age that caused the decay in your head. What caused the heart attack that took your life last night? I should have believed you. I should have, tick, tick, tick. There's a monster in the house. Door 11. It skitters in the walls. It steals my keyboard keys. I know it. It's gonna kill me. Am I just imagining it? Another key one. You see his shadow. Eyes long and dark and sharp. It's playing with me. I've no one to ask for help. Police should do something. Happen again. 3 so far. No one believes me. But I won't have it. His need to stay awake and lock the door. And can't he help in hope left to hear goodbye? I got to. He was staying awake? Is that what was going on? I think so. Story 12. Living near the reservation, I saw a lot of strange things. One late night while driving home, I saw an albino coyote. Nothing strange until it stood up on its hind legs and walked into the brush like a human. It was a skinwalker looking for its next victim. Story 13. It was a dark and stormy night. Yeah. Yes, how original. Then the murder started. The plains ran red with the blood of the bipeds. And then the jackalopes lived happily ever after. The end. Right, well, that was a... Thank you for the story. Story 14. A demon in your closet? Don't be ridiculous. Did you hang out with Emerald again? That grass I smell. No, I mean, there is a demon in this house. You gotta believe me. Stop it, Chloe. Go clean up your room. You meet the demon, tell him he has to pay rent. Maybe the locked chamber in the basement should have given David some clue. Or the newspaper article about occult activities in the area he had found in the kitchen. David was just happy to have made a bargain on that Victorian country house. Chloe disappeared 3 days later. Clear to David that she had run off with Emerald. Who's Emerald? The cat? Officer Doyle thought otherwise. He was a complete jerk in David's eyes. Hired a private investigator instead. Took his money and vanished. However, David went into the basement one day. He found the chamber open. Emerald was cowering inside, screaming and mumbling about the demon. David tried calming the boy. Oh, the boy is Emerald, right? Or Emerald is boy. And suddenly, Chloe jumped him from behind. David woke up and found himself in Chloe's closet. She and Emerald were never seen again. Story 15. Not that kind of story. It was a bright and sunny day. The garage lock was broken as Daniel's father had, as he called it, other priorities at the moment. It meant money was tight. Could have asked Daniel's grandfather, Jonathan, patriarch of the family, for money. He was too proud to accept a gift from his wealthy family. Daniel was glad the lock was broken. He had problems handling keys. Even his bike still had a combination lock. Opened the garage. After a quick glance, he shut the door again, screaming, running to the house, leaving his bike behind. The garage was full of snakes, or so he thought. In reality, there had been 6 snakes of different sizes and colours. Kind of snakes neither Daniel nor the orphan knew. But let's assume that they were most horrendous beasts imaginable with terrible fangs. There were stories that would impress by thorough research of the habits of snakes. A long-winded description of their skin. However, this is not that kind of story. Daniel's father reacted bravely. He picked up a long stick, carefully opened the garage door and took a step back. No snake in sight. No snake under the car. Made a point of looking into every corner. No snake. Daniel also could not spot the dreaded animals. Notice though that the combination lock he always set to 0, 0, 0 showed 6, 6, 6 instead. Father was amused, not alarmed. The next day though, he was. Code red. Daniel had been at the playground after school. He put his backpack next to the slide. When he came back home, his exercise book did not contain math equations anymore. Only the words, "Help me," over and over again, in blood red ink. The colour fascinated Daniel. He wondered where he could get a pen like that. Father was less concerned with the colour, more with the words themselves. He called his brother Robert, whom relations were cold since the brothers learned that either Daniel or his cousin Linda would one day inherit Jonathan's fortune. But Robert was family, and more important, a renowned children's psychiatrist. When he heard about the incidents, he agreed to help Daniel. Robert put Daniel on medication. His vision became blurry and his fears of snakes in the heights were exaggerated. Robert was adamant that not the pills but the disease was causing the issues and that Daniel just needed to wait. After waiting for 2 awful months, which the snake incident repeated itself, all kinds of other weird and scary stuff started happening to Daniel. One day, Daniel's lifeless body was found near the school. Suicide. Dumped from the roof, the police concluded. This was a fictional story not based on real events, then it would not end here. Police detective would dig deeper, noticing Daniel's fear of heights. He would wonder about the highly unusual prescribed medication. The detective would visit Robert and notice the pet shop next door. Take note of Robert's particular habit of signing his documents with red ink. And the unsolved part of the riddle would be Daniel's combination lock. According to Robert's sworn confession, he never touched. And why would he lie about that detail? However, This is not that kind of story. Whispers, story 16. Moving into the old house was a dream come true. Till the whispers began. Every night, just past midnight, I'd hear them. Soft, pleading voices echoing through the halls. One night, unable to ignore them any longer, I followed the sound to the basement. In the failing light of my flashlight, I saw them, shadowy figures etched into the walls, their eyes hollow and desperate. "Free us," they whispered. I stumbled back, and the basement door slammed shut. Whispers grew louder, suffocating me. My vision blurred. Last thing I saw was my shadow joining theirs. Story 17. On a dark, moonless night, I couldn't keep asleep. Echoed howl brought me to the window to see a strange light. Felt compelled to the forest, almost possessed. Feel the breeze, but my mind was numb. As I walked through the trees, I stumbled there upon a coven of witches dancing around a fire. They were so beautiful and free. What did I do before this? I am home, dancing freely with my sisters. Any warmth I need is the fire. I'm just a tool for these beautiful fae of the forest. They say, Rigido? Aterim? Something like that. Story 18. Hairy Beardman sat deep in his thoughts inside his lighthouse. He was thinking about the light of the Lagunas plantations from before times. He was so deep in his thoughts that he almost didn't hear the tickety tick 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 of the keyboard rhythmically banging away like tiny tap dancers. This had captures all of the hairy Beardman's focus. He stood erect and walked to where the sound comes from. It was then that the Beardman realized what the sound was. It wasn't just typing on a keyboard. It felt like the surface of the sun. He began to perspire. Not just any perspire, but the kind that makes you want to jump into a pool of wax and nair, because this kind of perspire was the worst for a man known as Hairy Beardman. This is the only kind of perspire he could perspire if he would perspire. What is going on? He nervously looked at his Discord messages, knowing that eventually Arthur Tom would finished his message to the Hairy Beardman and hit the Etna key. He knew that if he didn't destroy the mobile Discord, then he would never have enough free time to run the game. Yeah, we spent too long on Discord, I think. Arthur Tom, you see, was the best at coming up with things for Hairy Beardman to do. They were always great things. Always meant the Lagunas would suffer. So Hairy Beardman stood in fear, with his perspire and his ear pressed against the door. What would become of Grandma's Lagunas? I don't know. Discord is scary sometimes. Story 19. I sent my mind to the future, and believe me, we are very lucky we don't live to see it. Okay. Probably the scariest story, yes. Story 20. Have you ever had the feeling that someone is watching you? Unseen presence observing your every action? And not just watching. Sometimes they may even try to influence you directly. They might make you do things that are humiliating, offensive, or even dangerous. Once you attract their attention, there's no escaping them. They'll be watching and controlling you until you've done everything they want to see. Till then, you'll never have privacy, freedom, or sanity. Try not to worry about the people watching you, because I'm watching them. Indeed. Well, that was story time. And that's where we're going to leave this particular episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Back with another episode very soon. Take care, everyone.